You are now listening to the Dash3Feet podcast. Everything under the sun about little people. So get your listening ears on. Also, she appreciates you for tuning in. Here she is.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Dash3Feet podcast. In this specific episode, we're going to be doing a Q&A, and we have a special guest, and that special guest is my lovely mother, aka Terry Kirby, aka Little T as her nickname.
Hi, everybody.
Yo. Alright, so like I mentioned, this specific podcast is going to be a Q&A. So we have the first 5 questions. They're just going to be rapid fire, and they're going to be about your hosts. I'm the main host, Dasha, and my co-host for the day, my mom, aka Terry. So the first 5 questions are just very informal and to get to know us a little bit more. And then the next 5 questions are going to really be digging down deep about being a little person and having dwarfism. So let's get started. Now, like I mentioned, these are going to be rapid fire, so we're going to be boom, 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 boom through the first 5. So the first one is favorite color.
Purple, for sure.
Yellow for me. Favorite food.
Steak, a good one from like Red Lobster, even though that's a seafood place.
My favorite is sushi. I don't like it like every week, but it's really the only food I crave if I don't have it for like 3 months or even longer. Favorite pastime.
Spending time with family and friends, doing whatever, going out shopping or playing games, board games or puzzles.
Cool. Same thing for me, going out, hanging out with friends. My hobbies are a little different. I like to, probably our favorite is just, hang out, chit-chat, go out to eat, go out adventuring, hiking, enjoying the nice weather. And something we recently just started doing is kayaking. Something you wish you were able to do. This could either be realistic or such as a superhero power.
I would always thought I'd like to be a really good dancer or an ice skater.
Okay, cool. For me, this is not really realistic, but I would love to be able to read minds. I guess I'm just a person that wants to know, like, hey, do you actually like me, or like, are you kind of lying to me? I just want to know what you're thinking, and I know you're not going to say it out loud, because you're keeping it up in your noggin. Alrighty, and our last one is, what would you do if you had $1 million? Just $1 million.
Just 1 million. Only 1 million.
Yes, sadly, yes.
Yes. I would pay whatever bills, make sure we're all set for so many years, and then definitely give some to charity, people that need it, homeless, whatever, different charities, kitchens, soup kitchens, or whatever.
Okay, cool. I know for me that's kind of my answer, but a little different since I am younger. So first, I'm like really big about not having debt. I don't know why, it's like a pet peeve of mine. So one, I don't really have too much debt now, but I would take care of my taxes. I don't know how you go about that, so I would try to like cancel all my future taxes and get those paid off, and so I'm all set and square there. Then I would probably donate to my church. They're just a very small tight-knit church, so I just want to be able to help them and be able to give my support back to all the people that supported me during my times of growing up. And then lastly, I am still young and wild, so I'd probably either buy like a dirt bike, a go-kart, something fun and that I can get hurt with. And then if I want to be more realistic and if I have money left over, maybe a new car, maybe a house, since I am getting older to where I can start buying those things, and those are going to be coming in my future. So kind of getting me ready for the future, but still donating and still, having a little money to do fun and crazy things. So alright, so that was our first 5 questions, our very speed round, a little quick to get to know us. And now we're going to be diving into the questions about being a little person and having dwarfism. So our first one is your home modified?
Currently no. But, and I grew up in homes that were not modified at all. I used a stool, or my mom, dad, or siblings would reach things for me mostly. And then when my husband and I moved into apartments, those weren't modified either. We just used stools and reachers. And then when we got our first house, before Dasha came along, but then this is the one she mainly grew up in, we did modify the kitchen, bring the cupboards down, and we had lower countertops, a lower stove, and the appliances and everything were how we could reach, and the bathroom was adapted with a smaller vanity and rails to hold on to in the tub and everything. So we did adaptations there.
Okay, cool. So yeah, the first house that I grew up, practically knew my whole life in, and then till senior year, we moved into my grandma's house. So of course she was tall, way up there, and so none of it was modified. So it's still technically pretty much not modified, but since we have moved in there, we have done a little bit of rearranging. So in the basement, it's steep, dark, a lot of steps to get onto the main floor. So for our basement, we have a stair lift. Yeah, I know you're probably like, old people use stair lifts, and that's what I thought too. But ever since we got our stair lift, it is the most convenient thing ever. It is super handy. Whether you just want to be lazy or you're going to put groceries on there, you want to load something heavy. I know it's been very clutch for when we have been bringing our Christmas decorations, especially a very heavy Christmas tree. You put that Christmas tree on that sucker, hit the button, and it's doing it all for you. So super helpful. Also, I would say all of us, my family, we're not the best at steps. So a stair lift is, one, not only convenient, but two, helpful and beneficial. Basically, then the rest is stools. And, kind of fight for yourself other than just grab a stool. If you can't reach it, ask for help. But other than that, the rest is we're all good, set to go. We did take our little stove from the house my mom was talking about, so we do have a shorter stove. It's still kind of big for me, but it's shorter for my mom and dad, and those are really the only things that are in the house that we're living in right now. So moving on to the next question, can you drive, and if so, how do you drive?
Yes, we each have our own car set up, but she and I can share a car if we needed to, but we have seats that raise us up and forward, like a separate seat that's made by an upholsterer that we put right on top of the car seat and strapped in with the seat belt. And then all three of us have pedal extensions that raise it to our different lengths of legs. But we buy cars that we know are going to sit us comfortably and safely, and then we get the seat and the pedal extensions rigged up to drive safely.
Yep, that's the goal. Yeah, basically, if it doesn't feel safe, if it's not comfortable, don't do it. Don't push people's limits. You want to be completely worried about safety, since this literally is a couple thousand pounds that you have control in, and if you don't, things can go very south very quickly. So we definitely want to highlight, make sure to take all the safety precautions. And speaking of safety, another question we get a lot when it comes to driving is, do you turn your airbags on? And the answer is yes. Every little person I know, they have their airbags turned off, and the reason why is because we do sit so close, as well as we do tend to weigh a little lighter than most average sized people. And so if you're sitting real close to something that's flying at you at like 60 miles per hour, it's gonna tend to do more damage than good. So we have all of our airbags turned off. And I know for me, I've only been driving for about 4 years. So when I first started driving, I kind of gave my friends kind of like a warning, like a coming at your own risk. Of course, they're like, hey, we trust you. We want to risk our lives to be able to hang out with you, which I am grateful and thankful for. So that's totally cool. But I do feel like it is appropriate. You don't want to leave your people that you're driving in the dust. So I usually do, if I'm driving somebody new, I usually am like, hey, I don't have my airbags on, just want to let you know. And usually they're fine with it. I've never had to deal with anything happening about that. But yes, we have all of our airbags turned off, and you can do that through your car settings. Basically, you do have to take it to a mechanic, and I know for our cars, since they are a little newer, some other features get turned off, so I don't have cruise control. You can pay extra to have specifically the airbag off, but these newer cars are starting to be more wired and connected and more computer-based, obviously technology. And so it's kind of like you pull the plug on one thing, you pull the plug on a couple, but you can have a specific little device that turns specifically the airbag off, but it's like really, really expensive, and I was like, money or not be able to use cruise control. So I've just gotten the hang of always having my foot on the pedal. But once again, the key is all about being safe while driving and to be able to have the independence to do it. All right, next question is, do you get tired of people staring at you out in public?
In general, Dash will vouch for me that I can be kind of oblivious sometimes when I'm in my zone shopping or whatever. I don't notice what else is going around me sometimes, so I usually don't notice it. But if I do, I don't really care unless I'm in a kind of bad mood that day, then it bothers me. Or if it's an adult, like a kid, I can excuse just about anything a little kid does because they're just curious. But if it's an adult and they're being rude and they're not taking a hint by, me giving them a serious glare like, okay, and they just won't take a hint and they keep going on and saying rude comments or laughing or things, that can get on your nerves. But in general, it doesn't. I don't even pay attention to it.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat with you. I think I might get a little more mad than you, but I might also be more aware. I know if it's just me by myself, I tend to get more stares. But when I'm with a friend group or with another individual, usually the stares don't happen as often. And like my mom said, to me, if it's a little kid staring, I'm not really worried. And usually, they're curious, they're questioning. And the whole world is new to them. And so when they don't see something they see every day, of course you're going to ask questions. So it definitely makes sense. Now, on the other hand, when you get into the adult ages, a little shifty unless they have special needs, totally fine there. But if you are definitely an adult, you should, maybe try not to stare. And also, another little tip, most people might not have enough guts to say this, but if you're going to whisper something, actually whisper it, because we can still hear it. Like, if you're going to try to say, I don't know, something petty or make a little snarky comment, like, at least whisper. Because I know you're trying to whisper, but it's not really coming out of a whisper. But in general, like I said, it does depend sometimes on our mood. But overall, the grand scheme, yes, we do know it happens, but, we're totally cool with it. It's just kind of, comes with it. But overall, we just kind of have a positive mindset that people are curious, they want to know what's happening, and we're fine with it. All right, next question is the biggest challenge as being a little person.
This was a toughie, but I think for mine would probably be not having the physical stamina and strength and ability to accomplish all that my mind and my will or whatever wants to. And wanting to just accomplish so many things and then having my legs get sore or just wearing out physically and not being able to accomplish everything that I'd really like to accomplish.
Yes, yeah, definitely. I feel you. I'm going to piggyback on that one too. That's so true for me. I'm young. I'm a spring chicken. A lot of my friends, they are very sporty, so it definitely was hard not to be able to necessarily keep up. Of course, I wasn't doing pro sports or, sports in general, but it would be a little annoying if they were out running around and walking a little faster than I am. Another thing that bothers me is I'm not the best at steps. I usually need a railing or some type of guidance.
I always do, yeah.
Yeah, so the physical thing is kind of, I feel like we all can relate to. Of course, we all want to be able to whip up and down and keep going like no tomorrow. It's just we're not physically able to. And I know for me, I am starting to get in more of an adult life, bigger careers, new things, internships, first interviews, first job. And for me, biggest thing I don't want to have to worry about, or the biggest challenge, is being underestimated. And I know, personally, I don't think that happens too much. I try to go in there, knock their socks off so they know who they're working with, and I don't even want to look weak. But I also just don't want to be underestimated because these are so many things happening in my life coming up, and I don't want to be that person that she's pretty qualified, but we're gonna pick Joe, and Joe definitely was not qualified. I was way more qualified. I'm not trying to sound conceited, but I'm just trying to say, like, hey, pick your best person, and if I happen to be the best person, kudos. Don't bring me down. Pick your best asset. So I just don't want to be underestimated. All right, so we're going to end this on a lighter note. And the question is, would you say being a little person is a pretty normal life?
I'd say for us it's a pretty normal life because we have a family, we have extended family, we have friends, we have a big support system. We have jobs, we have church we go to every week, we have lots of activities that we enjoy. We have a house, we have a dog.
Yeah.
I think our life's pretty normal.
Yeah, we're pretty much the Picket White House family, other than, we don't have the fence, but we've got everything else. So yeah, definitely normal, of course. That's not to say there's challenges with it, not being able to reach. Might have to ask people, might have to take the extra step or two to do it. But of course, what is the word normal nowadays? Everybody has their own thing. and I think that is definitely being preached and taught more. So it's not necessarily is your life normal, it's just, hey, are you able to get around it? How are you dealing with things? Are you having a good spirit about it? And so generally, I know for my little tight community, pun there, yes, our life is normal. We have all your regular ups and downs, whether that's being a little person or just the average and daily struggles. But other than that, life is great. Friends, family, house, dog, support system, and yeah, it's totally amazing and it's all good.
Yes, it is.
Yep. All right, so that was the episode for today. Just a quick little Q&A. First 5 questions were rapid. The last 5 were just a little get to know more about little people and dwarfism in general. Of course, this isn't going to be the only Q&A. I just didn't want to make it too long, so we figured we'd start out with 10 questions. So definitely be back for the next episode. We're going to have more questions and more answers for you. That Q&A session will definitely be totally strictly little people. So if you want to get to know me more, definitely leave me a comment. I'll try to maybe, gear my podcast more to what you people prefer, because that's the whole goal. You want to know, I'll try to let you know. But the next episode is going to be strictly all about little people, not have our little tidbits about us. But other than that, we appreciate you for listening. This was my mom signing off.
Bye, guys.
And this is me signing off. Yo, yo. Thanks for listening and have a great day.